Hello, folks. Welcome to February. This meeting has been recorded for the school bus drivers of Beach Transportation to satisfy requirements of ongoing training. This month, we're going to be talking specifically about big buses, the space that we need for them, and how to manage that space. So I will share my screen with you. So big bus space management. Yeah, I'm real good at this technical stuff. All right, so we're going to talk about choices and decisions and consequences having to do with big bus space management. So because of the size of your big bus, tight places occur almost every day. It's easy to hit something if you're not aware of the space your bus needs and if you don't protect that space. So some of the problems that we have with big buses are in tight situations, you have to protect all four sides of your bus at the same time. And with 35 feet long, it's hard to see all four corners. Backing can be dangerous because you can't see well. In traffic, being too close reduces your reaction time. The weight of the bus makes it to where you can't stop quickly. With a school bus, the back tires don't follow the front tires. Around a corner, they don't follow the same track because of the length. Then because of the weight, a bus can be pulled off the road if you're too close to the edge, especially in a snowy situation or in soft spring situations, maybe on a dirt road. So all of you have skills to avoid accidents. Driving a big bus requires those skills. So you're going to have to use your mirrors, get out and look when you back up, keep your eyes moving, look ahead, look around you. Leave room around your bus, front, behind, both sides. Merge safely. Be aware of what's around you. Manage the space of your big bus when you turn a corner. Rock and roll in your seat. Rock forward, roll back, look. Try to avoid having those blind spots. Drive for the speed limit or for conditions. Park so you don't have to back up. Don't rush. So we're going to go through these skills, cover them a little more in depth. So tight places. This is definitely a tight place. This big trailer drove up beside the bus when it was parked at an intersection. You can see the line vaguely right here. They are way over the line. And they did cause damage to the trailer and the bus. The bus was sitting still. Tight place. So what are some examples of tight places for a school bus? Think about that for just a sec. Pulling into a garage. School zones. Some Missoula streets. curbs, alleys, daycare centers, motels, construction zones. You may have come up with some other ideas. So when you're in a tight situation, to protect your bus, it takes a lot of patience. So what parts of your bus do you have to watch when you're going through a tight place? If the tight spot is up in front, that's usually where your focus is. However, if you don't protect the back end of your bus at the same time, little things like this occur. You scrape up the side. So keeping your eyes moving is something you have to do when you're in a tight spot. You need to use your mirrors, right mirrors, left mirrors, flat mirrors, convex mirrors. If you're not sure that one part of your bus has space around it, you need to stop and look and make sure all four corners have space around them, both your front corners and both your back corners. And that oftentimes requires you to stop, not continue pulling forward. So when you're in a tight position, don't rush through that procedure. Excuse me, and don't focus on one corner just because that's where the tightest spot is. Continue to look at the other three corners. So in traffic, you need to keep your eyes moving. So we're out of our tight spot, except when we're in traffic, things do become tight. So keeping your eyes moving, being aware of what's around you, is a skill that you need to develop if you don't have that. Your eyes gather information, they evaluate it, and it allows you to safely react to it. But you've got to see the hazard before you can react to it. So look ahead 15 seconds. So if you're under 30 miles an hour, that's 1.5 blocks. If you're over 35 miles an hour, it's 1/4 mile. So looking up here, looking back and around you. Your peripheral vision, which is the vision on the side of you, on both sides of you, helps you distinguish color and light and movement. The movement is one of those extra bonuses with your eyes. So movement and your peripheral vision is an early warning system. So in traffic, use your mirrors, your flat mirrors, your convex mirrors. Know what's around you. If you're going to change lanes, know what's there. Gather information to either side of your bus and behind. Check your blind spots. Do you know where your blind spots are on your big bus? Most of those blind spots are behind this mirror system. You have a little bit on the right-hand side, and you have a lot of blind spots in back of you. You should be scanning your mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds and not going from mirror to mirror to mirror, but starting with a left mirror, your left side, check what's there, then look forward. Check your passenger mirror, then look forward. Check your right mirror, then look forward. And rotate through those mirrors every 5 to 8 seconds. So your eyes are very, very busy. And then if it gets tight and boxed in, slow down. So this is a narrow road. If you can look over here at this picture, if you were a bus, you would not fit in between this car and the yellow line. The bus that decided, there was another car coming towards the bus. The bus tried to squeeze through this gap between the yellow line and the car and didn't make it. They took off the mirror of the car. So what would have been a better option if you're going down this road, this direction, and a car's coming towards you? What would have been a better option than going through between the car coming towards you and this parked car? Probably stopping and waiting for this other car to go through. Choices are a big part of what you do when you drive a big bus or any vehicle. Okay, another tool is in traffic. You should rock in your seat. And we just say rock and roll in your seat. Has nothing to do with bands and music, but everything to do with movement. So lean forward, look around this mirror. Lean back, look around the mirror on this side, especially at intersections. So rocking and rolling is used to see around your blind spots, mostly when you're stopped, sometimes when you're moving. Where are your blind spots? We kind of touched on that. Both mirrors on both sides, especially in the back, a little bit in the front if you have a nose out in front of your bus. In traffic, leave room. That means leave space all around your bus, especially in front. You want the most space in front. But if you can, try to leave room on both sides. Try to leave room in back. We don't have control of traffic around us, but we do have control of our bus, which enables us to stay back from the vehicle ahead of us. So you should maintain a minimum of 4 seconds of distance when you drive. 4 seconds, that's counting 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004 before you get to where that car was when you started counting. I think all of you know how to count that, but 4 seconds following distance only applies to 40 miles an hour and under. At 45 miles an hour, you should be adding a second. So you give more space. When the space in front of you is filled up by another vehicle, let your foot off the accelerator and reestablish your space. And they will. They will continue to cut in between you and that other vehicle because there's space there. And space is good. But when they pull in, you've got to reestablish that cushion. So following too close. What situations make it hard to keep your following distance? Heavy traffic for sure. Anything else? Like I said, you, the driver, is in control of the vehicle you're driving, and you have to establish that space. How do you maintain that space? Like you saw on the last slide, if somebody cuts you off, you back off a little bit. You're not going to back up, but you're going to coast a little and not go the same speed to reestablish that space. So traveling together on a field trip, coming out of a school, can be a little bit of a space issue. So looking at this picture, do you think these buses have enough space between them? As a safety director, I would say probably not, unless it's a really slow road, 15 miles an hour. There's not 4 bus lengths or very much space between these buses. We get in trouble sometimes when we follow too closely. If we're on a field trip and we're maybe a little bit new to field trips, oftentimes we'll follow that other bus if we're with somebody and try not to lose them because we're not sure where we're going. Better counsel would be to figure out where you're going and how to get there before you go on your trip. If you're coming out of the school, which is what could have happened with these buses, you should establish that following distance right away and not hug each other so close. And this is why. These 2 buses were following too close. Traveling together, the first bus had to stop, and the second bus was too close and couldn't stop. That's pretty severe damage. And they were going pretty fast to make that much damage into the hood of the engine of a bus. So this is what happens when you follow too close. Now, if we have buses traveling together, you want to kind of stay together, but not close enough that you have this problem. So the school district of these 2 buses said one of the buses had slowed down and the other bus did not, hitting the first bus. Okay, so is this enough space if you're traveling in town? So your answer should be no, that's not enough space. Unless you're just starting out from an intersection or you're in a school zone, or, I mean, there's a lot of exceptions. But if you're driving down the road at 25 miles an hour, these 2 buses do not have enough space between them. How about this bus? In my opinion, unless these 2 vehicles are stopped on the road, this bus is way too close to this car. Hopefully you have the same opinion and that you practice that space management when you're driving behind either another bus or a vehicle. Okay, how about enough space on the highway? Usually on a highway, your speed is 65, 70 miles an hour. And in my opinion, and I hope it's your opinion, these 2 vehicles are too close together. They're coming down a hill. There's passing lane on the other side. Maybe this bus is just caught up to this truck, but regardless, they should back off until they have an opportunity to either pass or resume safe travel. This bus is too close to that truck. Okay, this bus was too close to a dump truck. This bus has just the frame laying there because the body got knocked off when the impact happened. So here's the body of that bus, and there's the frame. The dump truck had to stop quickly. The bus was following too close, ran into it. We just want to avoid these types of issues. Any type of collision we want to avoid. It damages vehicles. it hurts people. All right. So in traffic, pulling into traffic. So coming from a side road onto a main road, this could be the result if you're not paying attention. So how far away should the other vehicle be before you pull out in front of them? Much farther than this one. In seconds, how quick can a big bus pull out from a side street and be straight in the lane? The answer to that second question is 4 seconds. So about 1 block is the answer to the first question. How far away should the other vehicle be before you pull out in front of them? About 1 block. And that also needs to be dependent on how fast that road is going. If it's 25 miles an hour or 30 miles an hour, but not 45. So not on Reserve Street, not on Brook Street, which is 35. Should be a little farther. So you have to remember that your bus is slow. Just because you and the driver's seat can get out in front of an oncoming vehicle doesn't mean that the rest of the bus can get out in front of that vehicle. If you make the other vehicle slow down or touch their brakes, you are wrong to pull out in front of them. And I want you to put yourself in the position of the driver of that other vehicle. You've had it happen to you when you're driving down the road and somebody pulls out in front of you. It's not a nice feeling because you have to react, you have to brake, or you run into them. So pulling into traffic requires patience. Not just a little patience, but a lot of patience with traffic, with waiting. How do you measure 4 seconds in distance when you're looking? That should be 8 seconds, but how do you visually double your regular following distance? Okay, so in traffic, turning accidents, watching when we turn. Remember that the back of your bus wheels do not track or follow in the same tracks as the front wheels. 35 feet does not bend around corners. So I want you to pretend that you're headed toward us and you're coming through this construction zone and you've got to turn this corner. Notice how far this construction truck is parked. He's parked way up here by the curb, which makes this really tight. So how would you negotiate this turn safely? First of all, you're going to have to pull forward a little farther than usual before you start your turn. And then you're going to have to watch your mirror, your right convex mirror, as you start this turn. You're going to have to go slow to make sure there's space between the bumper of this truck and your back wheels and tire and bumper. Otherwise, you're going to rub against that bumper. Very easily could have taken off the front bumper and the front of the truck. Tight turns. So turning accidents can be avoided if you use your eyes and your brain as you approach the corner. Just like we did with that picture, As you approach, look. When you see that it's a tight corner, adjust your turning to compensate for the tightness of that, knowing your big bus has to go out farther and around. And then watch your convex mirror on the side of the obstacle every time you turn. So this should be a practice that you do with every single turn, whether it's tight or not. This trains your eyes to look in that mirror so that when you get into a tight position, you're watching the mirrors. If the object's too close, you can then adjust your turning radius to avoid the object or stop before you hit the object. So your eyes need to stay with that convex mirror until the back passes the object. All right, traffic calming circles. We have lots of these in the Missoula Valley. So last year, we were given permission by the city council that as you approach these, knowing that a big bus can't totally circle this little round calming device, you can turn left onto this street. However, be sure no one is coming from the left. You may have to stop here and wait and then make that left-hand turn. You can't just turn because you can. You've got to turn when the intersection is clear. Sometimes it still might be better to go down to the next block where there is no roundabout or traffic calming circle. Backing in a big bus is difficult because of its length, because of the height. It's hard to see behind you 35 feet. And you are tall. There's many blind spots in the back of your bus that makes backing safely difficult. Small cars can pull up behind you, park behind you, and be too low to see in your mirrors. So how do we back up safely? Well, backing up is the second step. Looking around you is the first step. You shouldn't back up until you know what's around you and what's behind you. If you have been stopped for more than a minute, you need to get up and go look behind you before you back up. If your bus is in the garage, look around as you approach it. What are the hazards? Did the bus on your right park too close today? Did the bus on your left pull too close? When you pulled in, did you pull to the left or the right? Is there the big support beam in the middle? Know what your hazards are as you approach your bus. It's time to put on your bus driver hat, leave the rest of your morning or your afternoon behind until after your bus route. If you've been sitting in your bus, you need to get up and go look behind you, even if it's just walking down the aisle and looking out the back door. At least you know what's behind you. If you're with a group and you're in an unfamiliar place, it's always nice to have a spotter when you back up. But take your spotter back behind you and let them know what specific things you need them to watch. And this spotter should not be a student. And then when you're backing up, go slow. It's good if you honk your horn. It's good if you put your hazards on to alert people around you. But go slow. If possible, don't back up. If you're out on a field trip and you have to park in a parking area, look around when you park and then assume that people will come to the same place as you are and will park and block you in. Park where you can't be blocked in. When you're at the school, if you can, arrive early, get in the correct order. Leave room for the bus in front of you so they don't have to back up to park. And then leave in order. Don't back up to go around the bus in front of you. All right, this is speed. In traffic, speed makes things harder. It decreases your reaction time. If something were to come out in front of this bus, they wouldn't be able to react fast enough. It makes a bigger impact when you're involved in an accident. So two vehicles going 30 miles an hour hit each other the damage is going to be 60 miles an hour velocity because of the two speeds. It increases your chance of slipping or sliding in the snow. I'm not really remembering a whole lot what the snow looks like this winter, but it may still get here. Speed makes it, there's no extra pay for getting finished sooner. Just want to remind you of that in case you thought that that was an option. So what is rushing? Well, rushing is a different mindset than speeding. You can rush going 25 miles an hour in a 25 mile an hour speed zone. A person who is rushing tries to take shortcuts with the rules and uses their skills to try to accomplish the task faster. For example, slowing down, tapping the brake at a stop sign, looking, and then zooming off. Not slowing down in a school zone, not just rushing from one place to another. So rushing can happen in all driving situations. How do you avoid rushing? First, get to work on time or a little early so that you don't feel like you have to catch up. And then decide for yourself that you will drive safely during the entire route, regardless of construction zone that slows you down, a train that gets in your way so you can't get to your first stop on time or your second or third. Lots of things can happen to make us feel like we need to hurry up and rush. And then don't plan activities that are too close to your driving schedule, like having a repairman come at 4:30 when you don't get off your bus until 4:25. So if I do that, we're going to talk just a tiny bit about driving smart. When you make a driving decision, ask yourself what could happen. Don't ask yourself what, but ask yourself what could happen if I choose to just slow down and do a rolling stop at a stop sign. What could happen if I don't let the kids sit down before I drive off from a bus stop? What could happen if I hurry through a tight spot because I'm rushing? In all those situations, negative consequences could happen. Think about what the risks are. Are you willing to take that risk? Are you willing to do something To make a bad decision about something, knowing that it's going to get the bus wrecked or a student hurt or you hurt. We don't get up in the morning, and I've said this before, saying, oh, today I want to go have an accident. Oh, today I want to go scrape up my bus. We don't do that. But when we're in a situation, sometimes we don't make good decisions. But you have the skills to reduce the risks of driving a big bus. Use all your skills when you're driving. Don't get complacent. Your eyes need to be busy assessing the space around you. You need to use your mirrors while you drive, and especially in tight places. You need to rock in your seat to cover the blind spots, to see what's around you in those blind spots. If you have to back up, get out and look around your bus. Preferably don't back up. In all tense situations, go slow. Stopping is a good tool too. We don't have to keep moving when we're not sure of something. Be patient, don't rush. Sometimes that's really hard to do. Good space management requires us to look ahead and around us and be constantly alert. Hazards demand quick decisions made with knowledge and confidence, using the skills that you have. Good choices bring good consequences. Thank you for applying your good skills. Appreciate you being out there every day, driving, protecting your bus, protecting your students, getting them from point A to point B safely. So until next month, have a good, safe driving month. Thank you.